Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join Old Coin Zee Collection, your home for stories that turn ordinary pocket change into timeless treasures. Now, imagine this coin 1940 Canada, 1 cent coin. The world is at war. Canada is standing strong beside its allies, soldiers marching off to uncertain futures, families back home doing their part, rationing, saving, collecting scrap metal for the war effort. And yet, in the middle of this storm, a small, humble coin was born. Just 1 cent, struck in 1942, a time when every piece of metal mattered. That tiny copper coin carried more than a maple leaf on its face. It carried the heartbeat of a nation. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1942 Canada 1 cent coin, a piece that might just be sitting in an old drawer forgotten, but holding the kind of history and value that could make you sit straight up in your chair. Now let's set the scene. The year is 1942. George VI, the father of Queen Elizabeth II, sits on the throne. The Royal Canadian Mint, working through wartime restrictions, continue to produce 1 cent coins made mostly of bronze, 95.5% copper, 3% tin, and 1.5% zinc. But copper wasn't easy to come by. It was a precious material being diverted for shell casings, communication wires, and war equipment. That made every cent literally count. The design, though simple, carried deep meaning. On the obverse side was the dignified portrait of King George VI, designed by T.H. Paget, his gaze calm and resolute, symbolizing the strength of the Commonwealth. On the reverse side, the familiar twin maple leaves appeared, designed by G. Kruger Gray, representing the unity and resilience of Canada. To most, it was just a penny. To those who lived through that time, it was a symbol of endurance. You might remember getting one of these as a child, perhaps shiny and new, slipped into your hand by your father or grandfather after a trip to the corner store. It was the kind of coin that could buy a candy, a newspaper, or a moment of happiness in simpler times. But today, that same coin could buy you something far greater, a piece of history, and if you're lucky, a fortune. You see, not all 1942 Canadian cents are created equal. While millions were minted, over 76 million, in fact, some survived in remarkable condition, untouched by time. Collectors today search for coins with sharp details, smooth surfaces, and that unmistakable red-brown copper glow. And then there are the rare errors, the kind of mistakes that transform an ordinary coin into a legend. Some 1942 cents were struck off-center. Others showed doubling on the date or lettering, and a handful even have small variations in die design that make them incredibly desirable to collectors. Now, if you're holding a 1942 Canadian cent, take a close look. Check the condition. Is the king's portrait crisp and clear? Are the maple leaves fully defined or worn down from years of use? A circulated coin might fetch a few dollars, maybe $10 to $20 for a nice example. A brilliant, uncirculated coin, gleaming like it just left the mint, could bring in hundreds. But here's where the story takes a turn. There exists a small handful of 1942 Canadian cents that defy expectation. These coins, preserved in flawless condition, with perfect luster and no signs of handling, have become prized jewels among numismatists. And when one of these exceptional specimens shows up at auction, the price can skyrocket beyond imagination. Imagine this: a tiny 1 cent coin, once worth a penny, selling today for staggering amounts. Not because of gold or silver, but because of its story, its perfection, and its place in history. One pristine 1942 Canada 1 cent coin, graded in the highest possible condition, once reached an estimated collector value approaching $1 million, $0.1 million. For a penny that might have sat in a pocket during the Second World War. For a coin that might have been passed over countless times at a store counter, unnoticed. That's the magic of coin collecting. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, the forgotten into the unforgettable. So, why does this matter? Because somewhere, maybe in an old cigar box, an inherited collection, or a jar of coins that's been gathering dust for decades. One of these historic treasures could be waiting. Every scratch tells a story. Every shine holds a memory. And for those of us who remember the days when a penny could actually buy something, this little coin takes us back to our youth, to our fathers and grandfathers, to a time when the world was changing, but our values stayed strong. That's what makes the 1942 Canadian 1-cent coin more than metal. It's a time capsule, a connection to who we were, and maybe, just maybe, a ticket to an incredible discovery.so. Before you toss that old penny aside, take another look. It might just be the most valuable story in your collection. And who knows, it could be worth $1 million. And remember to keep discovering the hidden worth behind old coins and forgotten treasures. Don't forget to subscribe to Old Coin Zee Collection, because every coin has a story, and the next one might just change your life.